Thank you, Ruchika. A top story on Up South continues to be the building collapse in Chennai, where the death toll has increased to 46. Meanwhile, the anxious relatives of those who are still trapped under the debris are waiting for some news, good or bad. Shisha Reddy sent us this report.
It's been 5 days and 61-year-old Mariammal from Periyakulam in Thenni district of Tamil Nadu is waiting at a relief camp adjacent to the collapse site. She's one of the few who are still there. Others who were waiting for their family members have all left. Mariammal is waiting for her son-in-law, who is working for Prime Srishti for the past 2 months and was at work that fateful day.
எப்போ கிடைப்பார் கிடச்சிட்டா ஒரு தர்மம் தலகாக்கு என் பிள்ளைக்கு மற்றது எது என்னன்னு விவரம் ஒன்றும் தெரியலம்மா எங்களுக்கு.
It's an agonizing wait for 35-year-old Shankara Rao too. His 24-year-old brother is still under the rubble. Shankara Rao from Ranipet, Orissa is a construction worker himself. When the mishap happened, he was lucky to have been working on the other side of the same building.
చేసేటప్పుడు ఒక మనిషి ఆ బిల్డింగ్ చేస్తున్నారు, మిగతా ముగ్గురమే ఈ బిల్డింగ్లు చేస్తున్నాము. మేము బయటికి అది బిల్డింగ్ పడిపోగానే మేము బయటకు వచ్చాము. ఆ కుర్రోడిని వెతుకుతున్నాము, ఆ కుర్రోడు ఇప్పటి వరకు దొరకట్లేదు. బిల్డింగ్ పడగానే చాలా భయం వేసింది. ఉరుములు 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 చాలా రెండు మూడు ఉరుములు వచ్చాయి. ఉరుములతో చాలా భయం వేసింది నాకు.
Amid the screams of those trapped under the debris and the cries of their anguished families, rescue teams are working tirelessly at the collapse site. And with every victim rescued, moving tales of survival are something that's keeping these men going.
After a struggle of 4 hours, we get the clue of the person where he was trapped, and after that we started cutting, and we cut the 4 slabs of the building, and after that he was extricated in the evening 4:30 approximately. We have make this small hole in the slab and give him the water with a saline. And he sucked the 2 liters of water at the spot. He told me that he was drinking his urine also to survive.
Meanwhile, CMDA, the civic body, is set to initiate a formal inquiry as soon as the NDRF team wraps up rescue operations. The Council of Architecture, the apex body of all architects, has clarified that Vijay Bargotra, the person arrested by the police as the architect of the building, is not a member of the council.
However, the officials say there might be very minimal chances of finding survivors alive, as they would be severely dehydrated, and of course the young people have greater chances to live, and of course there is no oxygen, water, food, which are very crucial to survive. And according to the doctors, it's more than the oxygen, water and food. It's a grit and the determination to live that leads to the survivors being found even after several days of such collapses. And the officials say there might be at least 15 to 18 people who are still trapped under this rubble. And of course, a ray of hope coming from the officials and the family members who are eagerly waiting with the photographs of their ones who are still trapped under the debris. In Chennai, Srisha Reddy for Headlines Today.
Joining me now from Chennai is my colleague Premvada. Premvada, the National Human Rights Commission has perhaps rightly sent notices to the Tamil Nadu government because they believe that it is a grave violation of human rights. Now, what is the state government likely to say? Is it likely to pass the buck on to the builder, or is it also like the builder likely to blame the elements?
Well, it looks like already the state government has passed the buck to the builder, because on the day one itself the chief minister gave a statement saying that it was the structural defect that was responsible. But Human Rights Commission is seeking for a detailed report from the time the approval was given, whether CMDA was in purview of giving up approval in a place which is basically a lake area where the soil is very loose, and this is probably one of the first multi-storied buildings that's coming up in that entire stretch. Though there is a real estate boom, though there are so many other buildings, this is the only 12+1 structure that is coming up. So definitely the state government has a lot to answer, and we have to wait and see if the state government will be willing to share those details with the National Human Rights Commission.
Premvada, also given the fact that this is a very busy suburb of Chennai, about 20 to 25 kilometers outside the city of Chennai, what is the mood like? You have been visiting that area, talking to people there. What do they say now? Is it likely to have an spiraling effect, perhaps an adverse effect on the real estate sector in that area?
Absolutely, Sudhir, because that is seen as the heaven for the middle class community. Anyone who, any middle class person who wants to buy a property or a house near heart of the city, though it's just 20 kilometers from the city, you have hospitals, you have shops, you have schools, you have basically all the facilities. So a lot of IT professionals were investing in that area, and per square feet was 5,000 rupees until Friday. But now the rates have drastically dropped down. People are not willing to buy houses here, and also the structures, the building owners who had started many apartments in that area have halted it. We can sense that fear, anxiousness, and also confusion whether they can continue with the projects, and also for the people whether to continue with their investment or pull back the investment and put their money elsewhere. We can definitely sense that fear out there on the ground.
Right, Premvada, thanks a lot for joining us with all those details from Chennai. Now, news from Iraq. Now, the Ministry of External Affairs has provided tickets to approximately 530 Indians with their tickets booked on commercial flights. They are now processing documentation for 550 other people. 350 passports are being processed from Najaf, the remaining from Karbala, etc. And the majority of them will be coming to Mumbai, which is about 290, and about 100 people coming to Hyderabad. Joining me now from Thiruvananthapuram is my colleague Rohini Swami, who has been in regular touch with the nurses there in Kerala. Rohini, given the fact that nothing much has happened since yesterday when their hospital premises was on the verge of being bombed, what are they telling now? Are they still in that state of absolute desperation and panic?
Well, the Indian nurses in Tikrit are hoping against hope right now. They're counting on that particular time when they can possibly be taken safely from Tikrit Teaching Hospital to the nearest airport or the nearest safest place. What they're also banking on at this point of time is the efforts that are being made by the Ministry of External Affairs as well as the Kerala government. But they also feel, and they've been passing this message through their families, saying that they are in absolute despair, they're in absolute distress, they're running out of food and water. They live almost every day on gruel, and this is how, and every single day they're living their lives by the edge, because the bombing that is taking place around that area, they fear that any time the hospital could be bombed, and they have been living in fear for days together, for weeks together now, and they're only hoping that the state government and the union government does something to take them to a safe place.
Rohini, you are there in Thiruvananthapuram where the Kerala Assembly is in session. Now the families and as well as those nurses are hoping that the Umman Chandi government in Kerala will be able to do something proactive for them. What is the Umman Chandi government planning to do?
Well, it's true. We've seen active involvement from the Kerala government also, especially the Kerala Chief Minister, Mr. Umman Chandi, and his team, who have been in constant touch with the Ministry of External Affairs. They've been in constant touch with the families of these nurses in Tikrit. They've also been in touch with the nurses. But here also, what we know is that they have kept aircrafts on standby. The moment they shifted to a safe and secure place, the Kerala state government has agreed to transport them at the cost of the state government to their homes. And so they're just waiting for that time period when they can be when the nurses can come out of that place in Tikrit and they can be brought back home.
Right. Rohini, thanks a lot for joining us from Thiruvananthapuram. We'll keep coming back to you for all the news and information on the plight of those nurses who are stranded in the war zone in Tikrit in Iraq. Now, Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu is finding it difficult to keep his poll promise of waiving of farm loans worth 54,000 crore rupees, with opposition coming from the RBI, the bankers, the industry and even the judiciary. But if Naidu does not manage to keep his promise, he may have to pay a political price for it.
Don't go by the smiles that these bankers flashed in Chandrababu Naidu's company. Because once the bouquets were handed over, the Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister had brickbats coming his way, with the bankers telling him that his idea to waive off farm loans was a terrible one that needed to be junked.
Naidu has been insisting on waiving off farm loans worth 54,000 crore rupees, and the bankers in the meantime are gaping at their balance sheets, which does not look so good. The Reserve Bank of India has already conveyed its displeasure on paper.
In a letter to the Chief Secretary of Andhra Pradesh, the RBI said, the RBI does not support the farm loan waiver scheme as it would hurt the financial health of the banks while destroying the repayment system.
Any debt waiver is against the credit culture. It creates moral hazard. It is a kind of temptation for people not to repay in time. That is why in general we oppose it.
The Hyderabad High Court also said that the state government does not have the power to waive off loans that the farmers took from banks. The industry too is not happy with a huge dole being handed out to farmers at a time when corporate players are also looking to the cash-strapped government to give them incentives.
It will create bad financial management. You cannot afford, because already we are shortage of funds because Hyderabad revenue has not been shared to us. And where are the other resources? Again, it has to start from industry, software, all these things development. So taking burden of agricultural waiver, it is definitely burden and it should be stopped. And that is why we are suggesting to the government, you cannot keep on giving these type of waiver.
The politically powerful farm lobby that voted in Naidu, believing he has turned a new leaf, does not want him to succumb to pressure from the industrialists who would prefer him to be the CEO of AP Incorporated.
They have been enjoying all privileges for the last 50 years and they have a tendency to find fault with farmers. These people are one of the greatest betrayers of Indian farming community. They do not even though look at agro-based industries, agri-processing industries, all general industries, their growth has been 8 to 10%. Now whereas we, agriculture, our growth is not even 1%.
As Chamber of Commerce see, we don't see. We are politicians, we are committed to our people. We are seeing in the interest of the public. We are seeing in the interest of the farmers. So in the interest of the farmers, it's a good project.
But with confusion over whether farm loans will or will not be waived, the banks are not lending and the farmers are not borrowing this Kharif season.
Right now, nobody is coming to the bank. Nobody is coming to the bank. In fact, why people are now waiting for a clear-cut government announcement on the fate of their earlier loan. So because of nobody is coming to the bank for dealing with the banker. That is the reason. I had gone to the field, I have visited some of the branches, I have seen. Nobody is visiting the branches or...
Another headache for the farmers in Andhra Pradesh is that a delayed monsoon has meant sowing for the paddy crop this Kharif season has been delayed. But it is the same elements of nature that Naidu is banking on. By declaring 460 mandals as cyclone hit and another 110 as drought hit, Naidu can hope to delay the repayment by at least 2 years, thereby keeping some bit of his promise. In Hyderabad with Pratibha Raman, TS Sudhir for Headlines Today.